This is the shore of the Atlantic Ocean near the small South African town of Gansbaai. 20 sharks were found here, here, and here, and they all looked very weird. Each of them had a hole near the fin, and they were all missing the same organ. The same sharks have been found in the water and on beaches all over the world at different times. What happened raised a lot of questions, and the answers were unexpectedly found here. Located on the southwest coast of South Africa, False Bay is usually teeming with seven-gill sharks, and divers see up to 70 of them in a single dive. But on November 9, 2015, something unusual happened. The sharks abandoned the area virtually overnight. Then the carcasses of several seven-gill sharks appeared on the seabed with the same clean tears in their bodies. And while the divers were wondering what happened, scientists found the cause of these strange deaths and gruesome injuries: orcas. Even though sharks are considered formidable predators of the sea, which cause human phobias, they can still fall prey to orcas. It happens more often than one could imagine. Sometimes orcas kill 12 or even more sharks in a day. Instead of consuming their prey whole and remaining full for longer periods, orcas meticulously chew the liver out of sharks. However, the motive behind this behavior remains unclear. Orcas are known for their intelligence, so maybe they did it out of simple cruelty. According to marine biologists, this preference for a certain organ is not strange for orcas. They're known around the world for picking out the best chunks of their prey, and they know exactly where those best chunks are. And if you think they choose easy targets, you'd be wrong. See those huge jaws with lots of teeth? There's no way I'd mess with an animal like that. Meanwhile, the orcas tear out the livers of even great white sharks. This skill is clearly not innate. No orca was born to be an expert in shark anatomy. Most likely, young orcas learn during the hunting process when they first taste a shark. That is, as soon as orcas learn exactly where the shark's liver is, they remember it for life. Well, it's hard to forget that a shark's liver is packed with tons of energy and abundant nutrients. Also, shark liver is large and has increased buoyancy, so that when the shark dies, it simply floats to the surface. At the same time, the other organs sink to the bottom. I can see why orcas prefer the liver. They don't even have to look for it. Before the hunt, orcas must use their intelligence and teamwork skills to come up with the most effective strategy for capturing the shark. For example, while one orca creates a distraction, the remaining orcas seize the moment to launch a coordinated assault. See this orca? It deliberately draws all the attention of prey to itself, while the other two orcas, they attack the prey. Orcas can also use their big tails to strike and immobilize sharks. Sometimes they even flip the sharks, causing what's called tonic immobility. Tonic immobility occurs when a shark is flipped upside down on its belly and down its back, a natural state of paralysis in which the predator is completely disoriented. Its muscles are relaxed, breathing is calm, dinner is served. But sometimes orcas choose larger prey, while staying true to their eating habits. In addition to shark liver, they'll happily snack on whale tongues. I agree, it sounds like something extremely hard to get, but orcas have achieved remarkable success to the point where they even collaborate with whalers. It is known, for example, that in the 19th century Australia, the whalers would typically harvest the majority of the whale's carcass, while the orcas focused on devouring the whale's tongue by accessing it through the lower jaw. This behavior was commonly referred to as the law of the tongue, although I'd rather call it orcaphy. Orcas still enjoy eating whale tongues in many different parts of the world. Researchers have repeatedly described coordinated attacks on whales, during which groups of orcas, mostly females, work together. Orcas not only hunt gray whales and sperm whales in packs, but also ambush them. To immobilize their prey, orcas swim into whales at high speed. Keep in mind that orcas are also quite big. Even a couple of such collisions can leave the whale seriously injured. But the best prey is, of course, a female with a calf. Orcas are known to chase them for hours until the mother finally gets tired and can no longer protect the calf. Other unusual items on orcas' menus include penguin breasts and, for some reason, the intestines of sunfish. They must be nutritious, I guess? In general, the life of a predator is often not easy. It may seem that it's better to hunt than be hunted. Well, to be honest, the food that herbivores eat at least stays still. Predators, on the other hand, have to catch their lunch all the time. For certain species, over 80% of their attempts to capture their prey may result in failure. Because of this, scientists have often assumed that predators take whatever they can get from their prey. There's no time to be picky when you finally manage to catch something. Orcas seem oblivious to the fact that other predators cannot afford to be picky. The liver is highly favored by orcas and accounts for roughly 1/3 of a shark's body weight. This means that the liver is not a small organ, but rather a complete and substantial meal. Moreover, the liver is rich in squalene, a very nutritious oil. Roughly speaking, one liver of the great white shark is enough to keep an orca fed all day. The cartilage and muscle, which make up most of the shark's carcass, are not worth the effort. After all, it takes effort to tear them off. And that's the second reason why orcas are so picky. The liver, tongue, and intestines are all soft parts. Orcas boast an impressive lifespan, but they only have a single set of teeth for life. By minimizing wear and tear on these teeth, orcas can enjoy a healthier and more comfortable existence. Each bite an orca inflicts on a shark is a challenge for its teeth, given the shark's incredibly tough skin. I've mentioned in the earlier videos that nature has given sharks and certain other marine creatures remarkably robust skin with special scales. It'd require significant effort and potentially compromise orcas' teeth to tear apart a great white shark. Except that nature seems to have overlooked the fact that orcas would simply focus on devouring the liver without bothering with the rest. In general, you can find many examples in the animal world of predators choosing only certain body parts of their prey as food. Take eggs, for example. They're tempting food for predators, and I'm not even talking about eggs that are in the nest. Female thorny devils, beautiful spiny lizards that live only in Australia, are a favorite target of birds of prey during the breeding season. This is because dozens of eggs can be found inside the female lizard. You can find several dozen lizard carcasses in falcon nests, and they all look something like this. The birds retrieve their eggs through these holes. Great white sharks that feed on whale carcasses first choose areas rich in fat and sometimes even spit out fleshy chunks when they accidentally get in their mouths. You can't see it very well here, of course, but the white areas are that nutritious fat that sharks like best. Cape fur seals like to dine on the calorie-rich liver of blue sharks. See? They bite in the gill area where it's easiest to get to the liver. Harbor seals in Alaska eat everything but the head when they catch a male salmon. But if they manage to catch a female, they focus only on the egg-rich belly. And wolves go after the guts of deer and other large prey. Even bears, known for being omnivorous, won't eat whatever they can get their paws on, at least when trying to get fat. We all know very well that many bears hibernate closer to winter. Surviving several long, cold months without food is hard, so bears go into a state known as hyperphagia in the fall. Their appetite increases many times over, causing bears to eat all the time, anything to gain weight before winter hibernation. During this period, they consume about 30,000 calories a day, and if it's a particularly good day, they can even eat 60,000. Knowing this, you might think that bears must eat just about everything they can reach. Maybe they don't even care if it's edible or not. Turns out that bears are quite picky about what they eat and choose only the most nutritious food possible. For example, a male brown bear may catch more than 30 salmon a day, but it doesn't eat them entirely. What's important are the fattest parts, such as the skin, brain, and eggs, and when they're eaten. That is, the bear is no longer interested in the fish it caught. Time for another one. This attention to certain parts of the prey helps bears maximize caloric intake and minimize energy expenditure for digestion. That is, brown bears eat so much that they don't have to think about how to save energy during the hunt. They just try not to waste energy too much on digestion. As a result, you can see fish carcasses like this in places of active bear feeding. Sometimes bears do eat a whole fish, but only in the years when salmon is scarce and they can't really be picky. But let's go back under the water, because I've already told you quite a lot about sharks, and I remembered more quite interesting facts. Everybody knows what a shark looks like, right? It has a dangerous part in front where the teeth are. You don't have to panic until the shark points that part towards you. But there are also thresher sharks, and they are the exception to the rule. Thresher sharks are deadly at both ends. The top halves of their tail fins, which are shaped like a scythe, are so huge that they can be as long as the rest of the shark. For about a century, people have been claiming that thresher sharks attack their prey with these enlarged fins. But for a long time, scientists couldn't figure out how it works. The first thing that comes to mind, if you have a good imagination, is this scenario. Sharks swim toward their prey, bend sharply, and lash out sideways. Experts say that these predators may use sideways slaps, but very rarely. Instead, it usually happens like this. The thresher shark speeds toward a ball of fish and brakes sharply, twisting its large pectoral fins. It lowers its snout, pitches its entire body forward, and flexes the base of its tail. The tip of its tail slings over its head like a trebuchet, with an average speed of 30 miles per hour. The fastest shark managed to whip its tail at an astounding speed of almost 80 miles per hour. This video shows exactly how it happens. But the attack is not only fast, it's also aggressive and brutal. When the tail hits the sardines, the results aren't pretty. The fish are literally hacked to pieces. After that, the shark just has to swim closer and have a quiet dinner. The thresher sharks are only successful on a third of their strikes, but during these victories, they always kill several sardines at once. This is much more effective than chasing them and trying to catch them with their mouth. By the way, during 3 of the hunts that the expert filmed, he saw plumes of bubbles at the tip of the shark's tail. This is probably because it moves so fast that it reduces the pressure in front of it, causing the water to boil. That's what they roughly look like. Actually, it's not just thresher sharks that know how to use weapons to hunt. Narwhals have a similar strategy. You probably know they look like weird sea unicorns. For a long time, scientists could not understand why narwhals need their horn. Well, it's actually called a tusk. It had seemed that it's not any good for breaking through the ice or fighting for the females, but nature wouldn't have given narwhals such a unique thing without any reason. And indeed, filming of wild narwhals from a drone showed that they use their tusks to hunt fish. The narwhals use them to stun the Arctic cod. See those fast movements? That's how the stunning works. And it makes the fish easy prey. So why did it take us so long to figure this out, even though Carl Linnaeus wrote about narwhals back in 1758? Not to mention the legends of the ancient Inuit and all that. Well, it's simple. Narwhals are very difficult to study. They don't jump out of the water like whales and dolphins. Moreover, they're very easily scared. We owe our knowledge to narwhals' hunting technique with their tusks to the use of drones. Without them, we would never have witnessed this behavior. We should actually thank drones for many things. These days, they're even used in falconry. No, not to replace falcons, but hunters use specialized drones to train their birds in stalking techniques and catching their prey. Robera is a drone that looks and behaves just like one of the falcon's favorite prey, the Hubara bustard. The drone can be controlled from the ground and is designed to withstand bird strikes. Falconers use the drone to improve their animal's flight and hunting techniques. Robera knows how to flap its wings. It's also covered with lycra skin so that falcons take it for a real bird. So it's a good thing for nature. The drone can survive multiple attacks by a bird of prey, unlike the endangered Hubara bustard it's disguised as. But back to the wild nature. Let's check out another unusual hunting strategy. In 2005, scientists managed to record it for the first time. First, they noticed a group of pied tamarins, funny-looking primates, feeding in a tree. And then the scientists heard a sound. A baby tamarin was crying in the bushes nearby. Attracted by the strange noise, the tamarin sentinel climbed down to investigate its source. Although the sentinel almost immediately tried to warn the others of the danger, the other monkeys were clearly confused. What danger can a crying baby possibly mean? The other tamarins also descended to the ground, and at that moment, a margay, a small wildcat, emerged from the foliage. It jumped down to the monkeys, and they didn't have time to do anything about it. Margays are actually quite unique guys. While most wildcats rely on camouflage, they take it a step further by imitating the calls of their victims during hunting. This is really very rare behavior. So much so that Steve and I haven't even been able to find what a margay sounds like when imitating a tamarin. But the monkeys themselves sound something like this, so it must be similar. By the way, the people of Amazonia claim that pumas and jaguars also do similar vocal mimicry. While this phenomenon has not been recorded by researchers, but the margays prove that nothing about these rumors is impossible. Speaking of wildcats, here's an interesting tidbit. Pumas are skilled gardeners. Pumas themselves may have no clue about this, but a recent study has shown that wildcats have a knack for enhancing soil fertility. It's been estimated that 12 pumas produce more than 220,000 pounds of carrion each year, about the same weight as one blue whale. GPS collars were used to identify locations where pumas killed ungulates, and then scientists collected and analyzed 1,007 soil samples from 172 kill sites. They also collected plant samples from several places. All this helped to find out that the kill sites are associated with an increase in nutrients in plants and soil. In other words, where pumas kill their prey, the soil becomes better and everything grows more actively. It had seemed quite logical and not that surprising. But the thing is, the killing always takes place on a very limited area compared to the puma's general range. Yes, wildcats literally have preferences as to where they kill their prey. See that little area? It makes up about 4% of the puma's total range, and this is where it returns to hunt. It's been estimated that over a 9-year lifespan, each puma has created about 482 hotspots of soil with lots of nutrients. And with each new kill, these hotspots become more convenient to hunt. Well, what do herbivores need? Vegetation. They'll venture to places with more vegetation and end up in the puma's paws. Meanwhile, dolphins in Florida have their own way of hunting. They create rings of mud with their tails and corral fish into an ever-shrinking circle. Eventually, the scared fish jumps out of the water and lands right in the dolphin's mouth. The mullet is usually chosen as prey. These fish avoid swimming in murky water, probably because of their good eyesight, and usually jump to get out of it. This is what those mud rings look like. If someone were to throw mud in your face, it'd definitely be confusing, especially if you were a fish, so you wouldn't stand a chance. Most likely, dolphins designed this hunting strategy by accident. Some of them accidentally stirred up a pile of mud from the bottom and found that the mullet avoided it. Not bad, thought the dolphin, and then found out that a ring of mud worked even better than a simple barrier. It passed this knowledge on to the rest of its pod, and you know the rest. Humpback whales have a similar strategy, only they use bubbles instead of mud to catch their prey. It's possible that one of the whales unintentionally formed a wall of bubbles at some point and then shared this trick with the others. How exactly does this work? Actually, humpback whales often swim with their mouths open to catch any fish in their path. Sometimes they first swim upward in a spiral and blow bubbles underwater. This creates a circular net of bubbles that makes it harder for the fish to escape. See? That's an actual bubble wall. This hunting strategy requires teamwork and good synchronization within a group of humpback whales, established communication, and social intelligence. In short, it's not for the stupid animals. To forage from a bubble net, whales dive deep beneath the schools of fish and use the bubbles blown from their breathing holes to stun and catch fish closer to the surface. One whale moves ahead, followed by the rest of the group. The leader is usually responsible for blowing the bubbles, while the others surround the fish, following it up to the surface and swimming in a spiral to keep the prey inside the trap. Honestly, if I were a fish with humpback whales swimming around, I'd be terrified. And it's a good thing they don't dance, because some animals actually do this. When it comes to ferrets, weasels, and stoats, they seem to lose their minds altogether. They seem to waltz, somersault, leap to the sides, and none of their actions look meaningful. But this is only at first glance. Researchers frequently witness such behavior among members of the Mustelidae family, often indicating the presence of potential prey nearby, such as a thrush or, more commonly, a rabbit. The purpose of this unusual dance is to mesmerize and lower prey's alertness. How does it work? Well, animals are curious, and any unusual behavior captivates them so much that poor things don't even notice that they're in mortal danger. And although stoats can kill a rabbit 10 times their own size, hunting takes a lot of time and effort. So why not just perform what scientists have called a weasel war dance? Pet ferrets also perform a similar dance, usually when they want to capture a toy. This behavior is often interpreted as a sign of their enjoyment. What? Haven't you ever felt like dancing when life is truly wonderful? And now, okay, to be honest, this is a bit off topic, but it's something I really want to share. You probably know that cuttlefish are very good at camouflage, but have you ever seen their skin up close? I have to warn you right away, this is not a sight for people suffering from trypophobia. To blend in with their surroundings, cuttlefish project colors onto their skin, much like color TV projects images. Actually, these black dots really do look like pixels in some way. Neurons in the cuttlefish's brain transmit signals to the skin cells, commanding them to turn on and off. There may be as many as 10 million little colored cells in a cuttlefish's skin, and each one is controlled by a neuron. If you turn some on and leave others off, you can create patterns. At the same time, the cuttlefish's pattern functions as a visual magnet, making it highly noticeable to the surrounding creatures. Similar to ferrets, the prey is captivated by it and can't look away. This allows the cuttlefish to approach and grab its prey. By the way, what about the dancing spiders? I don't mean the little ones that dance so they don't get eaten by females of their own kin. Anelosemus eximius is a very special species that scientists call social. Yes, social spiders. Now you can say you've seen everything. These spiders are only 0.2 inches long, so they have to band together to catch bigger prey. That's why they gather on the web by thousands, because in groups they can catch prey 700 times heavier than each individual spider, like moths and grasshoppers. Not only do they gather together, but they also synchronize their movements in a unique manner. The spiders engage in a dance where each one swiftly starts and stops their movements. Of course, it's not exactly dancing. The spiders sense vibrations, both from the insect entangled in the web and from their fellow hunters. If each spider moved to its own rhythm, it'd create so much noise that they wouldn't hear the trapped insect. Therefore, by synchronizing their movements, spiders can sense their prey more easily. Another interesting feature is that spiders can adjust their behavior depending on the situation. If a small insect with softer vibrations gets into the web, spiders need to synchronize to feel it. But the large insect is loud enough on its own, so the spiders don't even need to listen. It's like a room with people talking at the same time. When there's a faint sound, everyone stays silent in order to hear it. However, if someone starts yelling, there's no need to maintain silence, as it becomes evident who's yelling and from where. Actually, for the vast majority of insects, getting caught in the web means almost certain death. The wriggling prey's distinct vibrations lure the spider in, ultimately resulting in the insect being bitten, wrapped in silk, and digested. But things don't always work out in the spider's favor. Some vibrations are caused not by helpless prey, but by a killer lurking in the web. The Stenolamus bidiburus bug is a professional spider hunter. Sometimes it simply sneaks up on a spider's web and then strikes. But it also has another strategy. Sitting on the web, the bug plucks the threads with its legs, mimicking its prey's movements. These deceptive vibrations inevitably attract the spider, and it rushes towards its doom. So the bug has mastered food delivery? Not bad.
Pizza time.
Perhaps that's why the bolus spider decided to abandon the traditional web and hunt with something that looks like a lasso structure, or a fishing rod, or a bolus, an ancient throwing weapon, thanks to which the spider got its name. The way it works is simple. The spider swings its lasso and catches its prey with it. See this sticky blob on the end of the lasso? The insect sticks to it as soon as it touches it. The thing is, these spiders specialize in catching moths, and the scales covering their wings are detachable, so it's very difficult to catch such an insect with ordinary web. A lasso is a way better tool. But how do spiders know when it's time to throw it? Apparently they can detect their prey by the sound made by its wings, and then it all depends on the species. Some spiders spin their bolas around, others swing them, and some make up to 9 blobs at a time and hang them in one line. But guess what? I saved the most peculiar insect for last. Assassin bugs don't just hunt, they pierce their prey and suck it dry. But you wouldn't know it from the looks of it. Here, check it out. Looks harmless, right? But in fact, this footage shows the bug turning its prey's insides into mush with toxins. A creepy yet pretty common scene. Consuming their prey is just the beginning, because these predators have a strange habit of attaching the corpses of their prey to their backs. I'm talking not 1 or 2 insects, but piles of them. It'd seem that this should be physically challenging, and it'd make hunting harder. A pile of corpses somehow doesn't inspire confidence. But things work differently in the insect world, and a pile of dead insects acts as visual and olfactory camouflage. Well, and a bit as armor. Imagine some gecko that wants to snack on an assassin bug. In all likelihood, it'll be left with a mouthful of dried ant carcasses, and the predator will escape. How exactly the bug places the carcasses on its back remains a mystery, given that it can't reach it. It's like a human licking an elbow. It seems close, but you can't reach it. But it's their termite hunting strategy that impresses me the most. Like ants, termites practice what's called social immunity. removing dead or dying comrades from the colony to avoid outbreaks of disease. Assassin bugs are well aware of this. They catch one termite, suck it dry, and lower it into the termite mound, luring the next victim to the smell of the corpse. Once, according to an observer, an assassin bug killed and ate 48 termites in a single sitting. Other species of this bug turn themselves into a veritable flypaper for flies, secreting sticky goo on their front legs to better catch their prey. Others collect resin from plants for the same purpose. In short, these are very creative bugs. And I'm glad they're not interested in humans as prey. See you later.